Hey guys, this is Will from the Running Injury Free Revolution. So in this video I'm just going to be showing you some examples using a before and after screen, looking at showing you ways to take that pressure off your lower back. The lower back and the hips take on a lot of stress as we run, but there are some simple things you can do to take that pain away as you go. So check out the videos, look at the before and after, and make some simple adjustments and make that pain a thing of the past. Hey guys, so this video is having a look at that exact point. So what we're going to have a look at is ways in which we start to trigger pain through the lower back, through the glutes, through the outside of the hip, and ways in which that occur as we run and how we can take that pressure away. First of all, a couple of examples of pains runners receive quite regularly. One of them is on the outside of the hip is the TFL. The TFL really stabilizes at the hip, and it's an area where we receive a lot of pain. It also relates closely to ITB injuries. Another area is deep in the glutes is the piriformis. Of course, this is a muscle that runners will get to know over time, and it's important to release, and we've made videos on that. It's important to keep that from getting too tight to prevent against the neural issues that can arise in the form of sciatica. But just also general injuries in the base of the lumbar spine and in the glutes in general, so just aches and pains. So ways in which I think that occurs is this. So we've talked about it in many videos how runners tend to, if their body is straight, throw their legs forwards to create movement because they're not creating movement here using the upper body. Whenever the leg is thrown out and contact's made in front of the hips as we've displayed, the knee then bends. But this point here, when you can see all those muscles being really worked in the quads, and you can see that flexion through the knee and through the hips. At this point here, the runner is loading at basically 90 degrees. When we do that, it really increases the amount of stress that's going to be taken on through the hips, through the lower back, and through the spine. We're anchored down by gravity, and of course if we're making contact and then loading at this 90-degree angle, then all of that force rides up through the body. It can really start to create that tension in the TFL. It can start to increase that pressure in the piriformis. The lower back can start to receive those aches and pains. I myself had ITB, and a lot of the issues were around the hip, and I found that was from being level. What I did is I started learning on how to contact the ground at an angle. An example of how you might use this in everyday life is if you're standing in a supermarket and you stand up straight and tall, your lower back will start to hurt. If you actually start to lean forwards just slightly from the ankles, saying straight through the hips and chest, that actually takes a lot of that pressure off that middle part of our body. So you'll see here the runner goes from loading at 90 degrees on the left hand side to this point here when loading occurs at around 80 degrees. So this 10 degrees difference is the difference between a high buildup of pressure through the hips and the lower back to all of that pressure being relieved. In order to achieve that, it's the points we've talked about before. It's about staying nice and tall, staying straight through the hips, chest, pulling the head to the sky. It's about maintaining a small forward lean as we run, and it's important to contact directly below the hips because as we see here, it's that contact in front of the hips which makes the knee bend and causes the runner to load at that 90-degree angle. So those are those three things you need to do to achieve that particular element. So staying tall, to ensure that you've got that small forward lean and contacting below the hips, and almost immediately you can start to take off that pressure that's usually being made through the hips, through the lower back, in the piriformis, and it can start to relieve that tension, not just over a long period of time, but almost immediately. So this is Will from the Running Injury Free Revolution. Check out more videos at www.rifrev.com.